In our everyday offline lives, we naturally protect our privacy without much thought. We lower our voices for personal conversations, step away to take private calls, tilt papers to block prying eyes, or close curtains for solitude. These actions are so routine and universal that they happen almost instinctively, if you will, no matter the time or place. When our personal space is invaded, we respond instinctively by avoiding eye contact, turning away, or creating a barrier. Online privacy behaviors are also just as common. We switch between email accounts to separate personal and professional lives, tweak social media privacy settings, reply privately to certain messages, and use passwords to secure our information. We set busy statuses on messaging apps or control our camera and mic during video calls to decide what others can see or hear. Though the reasons behind these actions vary, they all reflect our effort to manage boundaries, personal space, and control how we interact with others. In an era dominated by social media onslaught, if you will, and digital interactions, the concept of privacy has become some kind of a paradox. Individually, people often prefer a strong desire for privacy, as I explained earlier, and express concerns about data misuse and surveillance. Yet, the same individuals willingly disclose their personal lives online. How? By sharing photos, opinions, and intimate details with friends, followers, and often the world at large. This disconnect between stated beliefs and actions is known as privacy paradox, a phenomenon that sheds light on human irrationality and highlights the challenges of navigating privacy in the digital age. I know many individuals whose postings in social media like Facebook, Instagram, X completely give away their innermost thoughts, cravings, secret desires, and impulses. Let me, in this podcast, explain the paradox. In addition, I will also touch upon the important aspect of how to spot people's with violent or societal tendencies through their posts in social media using sophisticated algorithms and principles of psycholinguistics. Let me answer this question. Why does the privacy paradox exist in the first place? Well, the privacy paradox stems from a complex and subtle interplay of psychological, social, and technological factors. Some key contributors include, firstly, the immediate gratification versus long term risks. Social media platforms are designed to provide instant gratification through the likes, comments, and shares. These immediate reward systems often overshadows the potential long-term consequences of sharing personal information such as data breaches, identity theft, or misuse by third parties. Secondly, the need for social validation for our actions and thoughts create the paradox. Humans are inherently social creatures. The desire for connection, validation, and belonging drives individuals to share personal milestones, their birthdays, wedding anniversaries, children's birthdays, children's success, opinions, and their emotions online. In seeking social approval, privacy concerns may be momentarily forgotten. And then this becomes a habit of continuously posting everything personal on the social media. Thirdly, there is the illusion of control. People often believe they have more control over their online information than they actually do. Features like privacy settings and selective sharing create a false, illusory sense of security, leading users to underestimate the risk of oversharing. Fourthly, there is the phenomenon of normalization of oversharing. The ubiquity of social media has almost normalized sharing personal information. When everyone is doing it, the perceived risk diminishes and individuals feel pressured to participate to stay relevant or connected. Lastly, there is complete lack of awareness. Many users lack a full understanding of how their data is collected, stored, and used. Terms of service agreements, which are often lengthier, are often opaque, making it easy for individuals to overlook the implications of their digital footprint. Now, let me explain the irrationality behind the paradox. The privacy paradox highlights a fundamental irrationality in human behavior. While individuals value their privacy in theory, their actions often prioritize convenience, social rewards, and short term gains over long term security. This cognitive dissonance, if you will, can be attributed to several psychological biases which are well known, like present bias, optimism bias, and anchoring effect. The present bias, the tendency to prioritize immediate rewards over future benefits, makes the risks of data sharing seem distant in the horizon and abstract. Optimism bias, people often believe they are less likely than others to experience negative outcomes such as hacking or identity theft. Anchoring effect, the perceived importance of privacy diminishes when individuals anchor their behavior to that of their peers who may be sharing personal details quite liberally. Then, how can this paradox be averted? Addressing the privacy paradox requires a multifaceted approach that empowers us to align our actions, with stated values. Social media can act as a window into an individual's subconscious thoughts and feelings, including violent thoughts, and this is dangerous part, violent thoughts or even depression or suicidal tendencies. Let me spend some time in this phenomenon. These may be reflected in subtle or overt ways through their posts, kind of language that they use, or their online behavior. Recognizing and tracking such tendencies involves observing patterns and context in online activity, which can be done using sophisticated algorithms. I, for one, use random forest algorithm technique to identify the pattern in the postings. Now, what are the indicators? Let's talk about the suicidal tendencies or violent thoughts which are posted on social media. The first one is the language and tone. What do I mean by that? Look for the expressions of hopelessness or complete dejection, posts suggesting feelings of worthlessness, despair, or being a burden on family, or society. Second, mention of death or self harm. Frequent references to dying, suicide, or harming oneself. The third could be the angry or very aggressive statements, threatening or violent language directed towards others or oneself. We must watch for these kind of posts or words in the postings. The second pattern is a behavioral pattern. What are the patterns, indicators of these patterns? The drastic change in posting habits. You will find that there is sudden increase or sudden decrease in activity or shifts in tone from positive to negative or sharing of disturbing content. What does it mean? Posting about violence, graphic images, or dark themes. And the most dangerous one, the farewell kind of messages. Goodbye. Posts that could be interpreted as nice meeting you, goodbye, or closing statements, see you in the next chapter, and so on. The third one is engagement with certain themes. What are the themes? Isolation, post about loneliness, being misunderstood, or feeling disconnected. And the last one could be obsession with violent media, um, which is sharing violent content, imagery, or ideation. And then there is this neglect of positive relationships. What does it mean? Lack of interaction with supportive communities, switching completely. Um, and then there is this interaction and comments where responses to posts can provide further insights, such as ignoring supportive comments or responding negatively to attempts at help. How can you track and recognize these tendencies? Well, it can be done through what is known as a keyword analysis using algorithm. Like we can use tools to analyze language for the keywords associated with self-harm or violence, like end it all, enough is enough, goodbye, worthless, kill, useless, so on. The second tracking could be done through what is known as the natural language processing algorithms, which can detect such patterns automatically. In pattern recognition, the machine learning models can be used. The ML models can be trained to recognize patterns of concern in tones, frequencies of distressing posts, or engagement with harmful content. Then there is this monitoring engagement, sudden disengagement from social media, or sharp changes in how a person interacts online could be the red flags one should watch for. Tracking comments on others' posts, such as aggressive or sorrowful replies, can provide some clues and some context. And then there is this contextual analysis. What do I mean by this? Automated systems can flag content for our review when concerning patterns are identified. Platforms can provide support messages or resources when flagged keywords or behaviors appear. By identifying these signs early, friends, family, and professionals can provide timely help, while social media platforms can also play, and they are not playing now, I must say this, can play a critical role in creating a safer online environment. So, in conclusion, I would like to state that the privacy paradox underscores the complexity of human behavior, more so in the digital age. While individuals value their privacy, the allure of social validation, convenience, and instant gratification often leads to contradictory actions. By understanding the psychological and social drivers behind the paradox, we can develop strategies to bridge the gap between beliefs and behavior. Ultimately, addressing the privacy paradox requires a collective effort to prioritize education, design, and regulation, ensuring that individuals can navigate the digital world without compromising their privacy. Thank you.